For Queen Elizabeth II's funeral on Monday, members of the British royal family, including King Charles III, were joined by politicians and dignitaries from around the world. President Joe Biden and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau are among the 2,000 people who have gathered at Westminster Abbey in London. The Queen lay in state in Westminster Hall for 4 days prior to the service, with hundreds of thousands of people lining up to pay their respects. The coffin left for Wellington Arch after the funeral and would later proceed to Windsor for a committal service at St. George's Chapel.
Fiona made landfall in the Dominican Republic on Monday and is predicted to make landfall on the country's eastern coast before Tuesday, when it will shift north and head for the Turks and Caicos Islands. It hit Puerto Rico on Sunday as a Category 1 storm, destroying the island's electrical infrastructure and leaving it 100% without power, according to poweroutage.us. Residents are having terrible flashbacks of Hurricane Maria's devastation in 2017, from which the fragile grid is still being restored as a result of the current blackout. Fiona is predicted to bring in record rainfall, which could cause devastating flooding and landslides.
IKEA hadn't yet dealt with problems like a pandemic, supply chain issues, or the war in Ukraine when Jesper Brodin took over as CEO in September 2017. As COVID-19 spread in early 2020, about 75% of IKEA stores were forced to close for several weeks, but ever since then, the retailer's sales have surpassed those of the time before the pandemic. Now, Brodin is ready to share the lessons he's learned about leadership, resilience, and sustainability during his 5 years as CEO and nearly 2-decade-long career with IKEA. In an effort to recapture some of its value, Kinross Gold plans to repurchase stock worth $300 million. By the end of the year, the business intends to repurchase the shares, with the majority of the funds remaining going toward additional stock repurchases in 2023 and 2024. Kinross trades at a large discount to both its peers and to the value of its assets, according to Mark Ciccarelli of Elliott Investment Management, and the share repurchase program will contribute in closing the gap.
The BC Parks Foundation will use the $100 million gift from Lululemon founder Chip Wilson to purchase large areas of wilderness and turn them into parks. One of the greatest donations ever made by wealthy Canadians, it will provide Indigenous organizations the ability to run the new parks and make money from visitors. According to Wilson, the donation supports his family's goal of enabling people to lead longer, healthier, and more enjoyable lives. The gift comes after Yvon Chouinard, the founder of Patagonia, handed ownership of his business to a trust and a non-profit devoted to combating climate change.
As supply chain bottlenecks hurt sector earnings, Ford anticipates having 40,000 to 45,000 incomplete cars in its inventory at the end of the quarter. The Michigan-based automaker also disclosed that third-quarter unexpected costs had topped $1 billion. Its stock dropped 5% in after-hours trading on Monday after it disclosed that a combination of high supplier costs and a parts shortage would have an impact on its earnings. However, despite a limited supply of vehicles, customers are still willing to pay higher prices, as evidenced by the company's sales, which increased by 27% in August. No, Gen Z TikTokade it instead of just Googling it. According to the New York Times, the most popular social media platform today is more than just songs about corn and videos of dance crazes. Google admits that Gen Z is increasingly turning to TikTok as a search engine because they are attracted to its individually tailored algorithm and the idea that the information is coming straight from peers. Many claim that using TikTok for search is also more entertaining and requires less effort, but experts are concerned about the platform's spotty history with false information.
One of Europe's largest ever IPOs, Volkswagen says it aims to value its luxury sports car brand Porsche at up to €75 billion, roughly $75 billion. Porsche's CFO promised that the IPO would only be cancelled due to severe geopolitical problems before trading began on September 29. In order to finance and hasten its transition to EVs and invest in software, VW Group is counting on the proceeds from the IPO. Porsche is issuing 911 million shares for the IPO as a nod to its iconic 911 sports car.